Now,
here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
how about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's, That's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think, I want to make you feel something, and it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Let's go, boys and girls and children. Welcome to the RP Show on this Tuesday, July 13th. Rod here and Moose Dupont over there. How you doing, Moose?
I'm well.
You got the memo on wearing blue.
I did, yeah. I got the team dress code.
I like it. I like it. It's episode number 526 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. We welcome in our American friends, Canadian sports fan viewers around the world. There's a lot to get to today. Jason Greger of TSN 1260 Edmonton Radio is going to be with us with the biggest news in hockey, or almost of the last 24 hours. Did you get the notifications here moments ago? The Minnesota Wild to buy out Suter and Parise?
No.
It started.
No.
It started. Zach Parise and Ryan Suter are going to be bought out of their contracts by the Minnesota Wild. So there's hockey news. We'll go through that. Darren Bombing is going to join us, a longtime Winnipeg radio reporter. He's from NHL.com, but also was with TSN 1290 in Winnipeg until they closed their doors. Now he's with a outfit called 360. And he's going to join us to talk about the news out of Winnipeg, which actually you know more about than I do. So let's get to that, please. Director Jordan, can you hit the quick six show topics, please? And thank you. Thank you. Whoever turned the fan on, thank you. Is it loud? Can you hear it?
No.
It's a smoker out there.
Oh, yeah.
And in here, which is good. It's summertime, and that's why we're leading off with hockey number one. Duncan Keith is an Edmonton Oiler. And
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? My phone was going off like crazy yesterday as I was in Walmart. Like, is this for real? People are saying, well, yeah, they've been talking about it for like 10 days. I don't know how Mark Spector of Sportsnet has known for over a week that Duncan Keith was going to become an Edmonton Oiler, or the chance was there. But whatever. It's happened. And when I read that article a week ago on sportsnet.ca, that Duncan Keith might become an Oiler at $5.5 million at the age of 38, I thought, too much money. I love him. Loved him since he played in Kelowna. Remember those days?
Yep.
All through the 3 Stanley Cups. I know all about Duncan Keith and love the guy. But he's 38, and that is a lot of money. That's the first thing that I thought when I read it a week ago, and then it happened yesterday. And you saw between then and now, people were saying, oh, no, the Blackhawks will keep some of his salary. There's no way the Oilers will be on the hook for that. No. Yes, they are. So this morning I was up pumping away on the elliptical watching Sports Center, and they got Ken Holland, and he sold me. Holly sold me, right? 3 Stanley Cups, 2 gold medals, leadership. What's that worth? And he picked up did you see this? Crystal golf ball on his desk.
Really?
And he's like, you can't look in this and know how things are going to turn out. Like, Holland was great. He actually was throwing it back at the reporters too. Like, what would you have done? It was great. And I'm like, yes, I'm in with Ken. Then they bring on Rashog, and he's like, Even Shogger's going, this might be a little bit of, too much money. He's like, if this guy went to the open market for free agency, he's not getting $5.5 million. So why would the Oilers think they should pay him $5.5 million? But veteran presence, good person, Stanley Cup champion multiple times. Let's go. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Caleb Jones, I don't think is in the Oilers' long-term plans anyway. So, the price, I think, was pretty low. It's all about that salary tag and the limited cap space that teams have now in the National Hockey League. And you know what? Put him on the injured reserve most of the year and bring him back for the playoffs for free if you need to. But here's the thing. And when you said 3 Stanley Cups, and then you said 38 years old. And I'm like,
right.
This is what everybody's doing. Because when you see Duncan Keith and you hear that name, you think of Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook dominating, winning Stanley Cups. You think of him in his prime. You don't think that he's aged up and, he's gotten a little bit slower. But guess what? Defensemen, when you're smart and you have that leadership, you can still play the game, even if it's at a slower pace. Yep. And he can't play 35 minutes a night like he was playing when he was on those Stanley Cup runs. So I think those things help. I think if Ken Holland wants to go out and spend this money this way for leadership on the back end, a guy who will play likely in the top 4, I'm okay with it. We'll see how it turns out.
just watching that clip from Holly, this is what I thought. Man, I wouldn't want to be a hockey executive in Edmonton because it just seems like the heat is hot and it's July, right? He's just like I know Ken a bit. I know his brother Dennis far better. Worked with my dad for many years. I hope it works out. That's my last thing on that. Our poll question today, by the way, is a gooder. And I stole it from ESPN this morning. But the poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is, who would you pick to be your quarterback to win one game? Zach Caleros, Bo Levi Mitchell, Michael Riley, or other. On Twitter, Bo Levi is winning. And what are they on Facebook?
Bo Levi is winning, and Zach Caleros is second. And when we were going around the morning meeting, it's important to point out that Zach Caleros and Bo Levi Mitchell are the last two quarterbacks to win Grey Cups. Starting quarterbacks to win Grey Cups. So they're automatically in the poll because they've won the one-game showdown, the most recent. Go to Mike Riley just because he's the vet. It would have been Ricky Ray. He's no longer here. And
right. We did put some thought into it, folks, believe it or not, for the first time. So Mandy in Edmonton says, I need the poll question explained. I don't really understand it. Also, I wonder if Andrew Harris had a good lunch he left camp for yesterday. So I'll explain it to you. You have a team in a championship game. You're the coach, and you can pick any quarterback you want. Anyone. Who would you pick in the CFL? Past or present? Those were our options. He just explained why. The last two Grey Cup winners, and who else did we say? Mike Riley.
Yeah.
Potential Hall of Famer. And if you don't like those three, pick the fourth. Pick the one guy you want to play one game to win. Point two. Okay, so the Major League Baseball Homerun Derby last night. Wah, wah, wah. Do you guys have that sound effect back there? Pete Alonso of the New York Mets won it at Coors Field. He beat number 6 seed Trey Mancini of the Orioles in the final for his second straight Derby title. Top-seeded Shohei Ohtani bowed out in the Home Run Derby's first round, beaten by national star Juan Soto. He was a Haley's Comet, Shohei. Just last night at the Home Run Derby. Obviously, you watched?
Yeah.
It didn't really hold my interest.
No, me either. I was so in and out of it. I hate to admit it.
We pumped it up.
Because we did. You know what? But we're not kids anymore, and so it's not quite the same. But he hit a bomb, Shohei did. One really big one. And But, yeah, just couldn't get to the first round. So when he was out, I was disappointed, and I'm kind of like checked out.
Yeah,
I was in for the Shohei show.
Just telling you that it wasn't not as interesting as we predicted that it would be. But whatever, it was something to do on a Monday night. Now, moving on, point 3, I'm more interested in talking about this. Stephen A. Smith. Clark, you got those photos? There you go. Thank you. Stephen A. Smith. My guy. He's like my spirit animal, right? ESPN commentator. I love Stephen A. Smith, but boy, did he step in it on Monday. Talking about Shohei Ohtani, saying the fact that he can't speak English is hurting Major League Baseball. You saw those comments?
The number one
go ahead.
PR, the number one athlete in Major League Baseball, your star, needs an interpreter to do interviews.
The second Stephen A. said that, I'm like, oh, this ain't going to end well. And I normally stand by Stephen A., but I know this is wrong. And I remember, I've told you this many times, when the LPGA came through town for the CP Women's Open, and you were there with me, remember we got to talk to all the mucky mucks with the LPGA, and they said, you have to speak English on this tour. You need to be able to market the game. And I thought, well, that's not very inclusive, but it is your association, so you can do whatever the heck you want. And basically the inference was the best golfers in the world are all Asian. They don't all speak English. We can't have a tour based in America with nobody that speaks English. That was kind of what they were saying. This is different to me than that. Ohtani, number one, it's 2021. The guy could just tweet his thoughts. Why does he need to talk? He's a freak in a great way. Look at what he's doing. He's starting tonight for the American League, and he leads the Major League MLB in home runs. Well, to make a long story short, Stephen A. quickly apologized last night. Then I was watching his show Get Up this morning. He apologized again, and he said he didn't realize that it would trigger such an avalanche of hate towards the Asian American community. And he did say, myself, as an African American, I should have known better. But my thinking was, in all our years as sports fans, And let's think about hockey players, if you will. Some Russian couldn't speak English. Did you care if you really loved him? I didn't. I did not care.
That's right.
Is there any universe that Stephen A. Smith's comments hold water? Because they don't to me. Why would we care?
He's the most marketable athlete in baseball and can't really communicate one-on-one freely. But you know what? I think that's even a positive, right? Here's this guy who doesn't say much and all he does is go out and deliver on the field.
That's all you need.
That's cool. I think that's really cool. And I think, if you're good at your job, you can market that and have a lot of success with it. But I understand, because then all of a sudden, you've got, Asian baseball players who are like, this is the best player in baseball. And they're kind of saying he shouldn't be the star because he can't speak English.
Yeah, sorry to cut, but obviously this is one of my favorite topics, but he came to throw the baseball 100 miles an hour and crush it 550 feet. He didn't come to do interviews. There's other guys that are fun at parties that can do interviews after the game. It is not in their contract that you need to sell the game. I guess that's what I meant to say earlier. Who cares if he can't speak English? Because he's the biggest thing in baseball right now. There are analysts in baseball saying he's the greatest player Major League Baseball has ever seen. Could you argue that? The way he's going, he's only been in the league 4 years.
He's the starting pitcher in the All-Star game, and he's batting leadoff as a DH. And leads the league in home runs.
Right.
Like, that type of dominance, they have put rules in place so that pitchers don't have to hit. Mm-hmm. And here he's coming up and saying, I can hit better than the hitters and throw better than the other pitchers.
He's a physical freak, and the fact that he doesn't speak English, who really cares? Ever hear that phrase, I'll do my talking on the field? He is. Let him do it. And let one of his other also-rans, if you will, you know that term, also-rans?
Yeah.
Let them do the interviews that aren't as good. Anyways, point 4. Paxton Lynch, as we get around to the CFL discussion here. 6'7" quarterback, in camp with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, first-round pick of the Denver Broncos. There's a look at him, courtesy 3downnation.com. Thanks, guys, for allowing us to use the photo. I'm thanking them rather than begging for permission. So his comments yesterday got a lot of play, if you will. Did you see them? His first day on the field was Monday because he was quarantining, and he said, hey, I'm finding the CFL game difficult, and I can't wait to get back to the NFL. And it's sent everybody bonkers. Our boy Chad Jeter, right? Our guy saying, it didn't take him long. Took him one practice to say he wants to go back to the NFL. And people were saying, no, that's not really what he means. And Chad Jeter has been in the CFL long enough that he should know. Again, big name NFL star comes to the CFL and on day one says, boy, this is harder than I thought. I can't wait to get back to the NFL. Says every big name American star that's come to the CFL. Every one. I was not put out by any of those comments. It is hard, especially for a quarterback. But we've heard DBs say the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Receivers, a waggle is a what? One day in, he's like, I want to go back to the NFL. And the thing is, you might want to ask the NFL about that. Is the door open?
There's a reason you're here.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won, Bob. There's a reason you're in the Canadian Football League, Paxton. Seems like a really nice guy. Maybe he should take the Ohtani approach and say, I'm not doing any interviews until I figure this out. Right? So that was my take on Paxton Lynch's comments. You're not going to play anyways. Has anybody told him?
Cody who?
He actually thinks that he's going to light the CFL on fire and go back to the NFL. Again, so says every big name American that's come up here and thought this is a beer league, because it's not. It's just operated that way. But talent-wise, it's not.
I think that's the impression, is that it's going to be easier. And, hey, I'll go back down here. I'll play really well and get back to the NFL. Now, of course, I mean, I like that he's being honest and saying he wants to go back to the NFL. Because he does. He's still young. First-round pick in 2016. Like, he is what should be the beginning of his prime right now. Just in the beginning of his prime. So if he has a decent showing and can get back to the NFL, even if he gets a little bit of time to play, then yeah, he says, you know what, I do want to go back to the NFL. I didn't take it as him saying, oh my God, this league's hard. I want to go home. Like, I didn't take it like that, right?
Well, a lot did.
I think there was some space in between there, and he's like, look, this is harder than I thought. I'm humbled. And yes, I do want to go back to the NFL. That's kind of how I took it, but either way.
I'm sure that's what it is. But I'm just saying, every guy that comes up here thinks they're going to light it up and go back. And it's not as many do. 0.5, Andrew Harris. Again, the reigning most outstanding Canadian and most outstanding player of the Grey Cup. Left yesterday, Bomber training camp. We're told he had an appointment. I didn't even know this. You have an update on Andrew Harris today.
Yeah, from Ed Tate in Winnipeg. Andrew Harris is on the field today at training camp, but he's not participating. On the field, but not participating today. So, of course, the got an appointment was just, we're not telling you what's going on. He didn't go to the Wellington Steakhouse and,
how do we know?
You don't swim in the pool for 30 minutes after you eat a meal. You don't go on the field for 24 hours after you have a steak from Wellington's. Yeah. I don't know.
It just annoys me because fans want to believe what they're told by the coaches. And the fact is you can rarely believe what you're told. He had an appointment? Okay. It just annoys me because it's like, then you Bombers, you could have told Ed Tate, your in-house reporter, that. He could have tweeted, Andrew Harris is leaving everybody. Don't panic because he's got an appointment. No, you just came up with that at the end of practice. Yeah. So sorry. It's not the truth, and we should be used to that. But the fans believe what they're told. And that's not changing. They want to believe what they're told.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't have an appointment. So you guys that said I should be eating crow today when it was proven that he did, what are you going to eat? My shorts? And 0.6, Game 4 NBA Finals isn't until tomorrow, but I'm thinking they must have scheduled that because of the All-Star game. Now that I think about it.
Okay, makes sense.
So now we don't have to remote surf tonight. We'll be watching the All-Star game tonight and then Game 4 of the NBA Finals tomorrow, and the Suns have to suffer another day in Milwaukee before playing Game 4. All right. The warm-up is proudly brought to you by our good friends at Ecole Electric, your complete electrical distributor with locations in Regina, Estevan, Swift Current, Yorkton, and Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Ecole Electric, let's get to work right after coffee. And after this break, Jason Gregor will join us from TSN 1260 Edmonton to talk about the Duncan Keith news, some CFL chatter, and whatever else comes up. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, available all across Alberta on TELUS Optic Cable. Game Plus TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.